right, let's get into it. I made a decision to enlist in the Army. I'm gonna break down what made me want to join the military and also what was the process like. I have a ship date. It's not for some time, January 28th, but this was about like a 2-month process of getting enlisted. So I'll break it down. So really, knowing what I know now in life, I kind of wish if I was gonna do this, I mean, hindsight is 2020. If I was gonna do it, I wish I would have did it straight out of high school because by now I'm 28. So by now, I mean, I could have been so far ahead, but it is what it is. There's so many different reasons on what made me want to join. I felt like I was working a lot of dead-end jobs. You know, I've had a lot of jobs in my life, right? You know, I never really had a plan after high school. You know, life happens. I had my daughter at 19. I was really wrapped up in that relationship, right? And you know, now it's fine. Now I'm just in a co-parenting situation. At this time, I live in my mother's basement. I had lost my car. That was really what pushed me over the edge, because I was like, okay, once I lost my car, I was like, all right, look, Jay, you need to figure something out. Maybe the military is something that you could go and do and pursue. And so my contract is 3 years and 22 weeks. There's a lot of benefits that come with joining the military. I never really had a plan. And like, this is why writing your goals down and having a plan is so important, because when you don't have a plan and you're just living your life and you're just going with the flow, there's no real structure. You're just taking things as it comes. And there, you know, I think part of my naiveness is what's going to help me get through this journey, because you can't fear what you don't know, right? So like, I'm not watching basic training videos, and I'm not really worried about the leadership and things like that. I've heard there can be good leadership, bad leadership, but for me, the life experience that I have, I'm well equipped for anything that comes my way, right? Because I've had shitty bosses, I've had good bosses. So I think it's gonna be the same thing as far as the leadership goes in the military. So pretty much just where life has taken me is what made me want to make this decision. So I just walked into the recruiter's office. I had no idea what the ASVAB was. I thought that you just walk in, you sign a piece of paper, and you're enlisted. I was wrong. It's so much more to it. So, you know, first thing we did when I went into the recruiter's office, I just took a practice test. I did pretty bad. I got like a 29 on the test. So he's like, okay, it's not bad, but it's not good, because you need a minimum of 31 to get in. I ended up taking 3 weeks to study. So I got, went to the library, got some ASVAB books. I was doing things on YouTube. I'll put it in the video, the people that I was watching to study and just to help me. This is what worked for me. You got to figure out what works for you. But what worked for me was watching the YouTube videos, because he would put like practice examples, and so I would try to figure it out before the video would play, the results and the answers. So obviously I would watch different videos on how to do something, and then I would like do the practice test questions, and that's what really helped. Okay, so I go in, take the practice test, did bad on it. He's like, come back in 3 weeks. I come back in 3 weeks. Now I was studying, but then I wasn't really studying. But I wasn't. And I took it again, and I didn't do so hot. He gave me a shorter practice test, and I didn't do good on that either. It was like a 15. So I went from a 29 to a 15, but the questions were shorter, so that's why the score was less. We scheduled another practice test. I took 3 practice tests. So then we do I think they call it PICAT. But this time I was like, and come back in a week. But I really locked in and was like focused, like, yo, there's no way I'm not gonna be able to enlist because can't pass this ASVAB. So I go home, I'm studying, I'm really going hard on it, and I got a 48 on the PICAT. So I was like, okay, I'm ready. So then the next following week, we scheduled the real thing at MEPS, and that's a whole process, because you gotta go through metal detectors, and you know, it's just like a whole process on the 3rd floor. I'm tired of going to MEPS at this point. I think some of the people at MEPS, they just don't care. Like, I would say they don't care, but like, they deal with so many people. You got people shipping off, you got people trying to come and take a test, or you gotta do your physical. There's all these different things at MEPS, and so I understand how the workers can be a little, like, they don't care, if that makes sense. So anyways, I go to MEPS, I take the actual test, and I end up getting a 39. Could I have studied better? Yeah. They told me to take off my earrings. There's no jewelry allowed, so I was kind of embarrassed because I had to like unscrew my earrings. They're very picky about things like that. So anyways, I ended up getting 39 on the actual test. So at that point, it's a sigh of relief because it's like, okay, my test score is good enough to get in. But unbeknownst to me, I wonder if I have it. So these are all of the MOSs. I don't know if you can even see this or not, but my recruiter gave me a list of everything that I qualify for. But because what I really wanted to be 88 Mike and just be a truck driver, but that wasn't what was available when I enlisted. And I'm going to get into that. I think it was like a week later, we scheduled the physical. Mind you, I have a job right now. I'm still employed, so I had to miss work for everything that I did. So each time I took a practice test, I had to miss work. When I went to MEPS to take the ASVAB, I had to miss work. When I took the physical, I had to miss work. So when you're trying to go through this process, you will miss work if you are currently employed, but you will get excused and your employer can't fire you due to you trying to enlist in the military. So your recruiter can give you a note, they can call, email. So my recruiter was pretty cool about that, making sure that my employer knew what I was doing and that I wasn't just like missing work for a bad reason. So take the physical, which is, it's pretty basic stuff. You know, they you piss in a cup, you know, you drug test you, they take some blood, you take a physical, you know, tell you to turn and cough, they look at you, they do all that stuff, you know. That was like a half-day process. Once that cleared, everything was good, you do vision, hearing, do all this stuff. From there, then you, what do we do? Oh, and then you actually, you go enlist. So this is my third time going to MEPS at this point. Then the third day for me was I enlist. So you pick your MOS. So the thing is, my recruiter, he gave me, there was 4 options that I could do. I'm gonna talk about what I think of the recruiters and what my honest opinion is. It's in my text. Also, there's so many, like, I think the hardest part of this process too is because there's other paperwork that they give you. So I needed 5 character references, and I don't have a lot of friends, right? I'm a very like to myself individual. So finding 5 people that I could give them was like the challenging part, because they need their address, their phone number, and so I had to call people like, hey, can I use you as a reference? And then any job you ever worked, they need supervisors' numbers. They need their addresses. Obviously, they need like your birth certificate, your social, who's your family. Like, there's a lot of stuff that they needed. So it was definitely a process trying to like get all this information. So like I said, it was like a 2-month process to actually enlist. So once everything was good to go, the jobs that were available based off my ASVAB score, it was 11X, 13U, 19U, and 92F. So the MOS that I've decided on was 92 Fox, which is a petroleum supply specialist, and it's a fueler. And so I would just be putting fuel into, you know, potentially aircrafts, Humvees, trucks, tanks, things like that. That seemed like the best thing for me that out of all the options that I had. And my contract is a 3-year, 22 week contract. So like that was the shortest contract that I could find. There was no bonus for my contract too, by the way. So that's what I decided on. So I'll be in South Carolina for 10 weeks for basic training. And then for my AIT, I'll be in Virginia. Yeah, so my basic training is gonna be 10 weeks. And then my AIT in Virginia, that'll be 10 weeks. And then from there, I'll figure out where I'll be living. But like, there's so many benefits that come with joining, as far as like, you get free medical and dental, free housing and meals, 30 days vacation. You get paid on the 1st and the 15th. I mean, for me, it was like a no-brainer. And there's other benefits like the GI Bill if you want to go to school. Like, I have a daughter, so maybe that's something that she could pursue. And then the VA home loan. And again, I have to figure out every exact benefit that there is to joining, but I mean, it's all over but the crying. I mean, I've already signed up. Again, it was a long process, but you know, I'm ready to do it, man. I'm ready to challenge myself. Now, overall, my opinion on the process, the recruiters, I would say for the most part, I don't really think that they cared that much. I think they deal with so many different people and they don't know who to really invest their time into, because there were so many times where I was supposed to come in and either my recruiter was late or he didn't show up, and I would end up dealing with somebody else. Now I think like as the process got further along and they seen I was super serious about this, because I was like just texting my recruiter. I'm a very personable person, and so like now we're actually pretty cool. We do PT once a week. I don't have a vehicle right now, And so they give the recruiters government vehicles. So your recruiter, they can pick you up and drop you off. Like I always got picked up and dropped off to either the recruiter building or to MEPS. And like we were super cool. Like he would give me rides to like the grocery store, things like that. So if you can get in cool with your recruiter, I do it. You know what I'm saying? Like they're gonna take you as serious as you take them. And for the most part, everybody that I've talked to and that I've met, they have similar background, similar story. Like a lot of people want to get away from home. A lot of people are just trying to better themselves, have a better future for themselves, or maybe they're in a co-parenting situation like me, and so they want to, have a better future, provide a better future for their children. One thing I've noticed too is that I didn't mention. So when you do your physical, they make you stay in a hotel, and I didn't even know I was gonna have a roommate. It's kind of silly, but it makes sense because they want you to be at the building at MEPS because they open at 6. So you drive to MEPS from your hotel at like 5:30 in the morning. It was something like that. So for a night, they put you in a hotel. And what I realized too is that like I'm gonna be dealing with a lot of kids. Like I said, I'm 28, so I feel like I'm right in the middle because I think the ages to enlist are like 17 to 35. So I definitely have a lot of life experience. I'm definitely more mature. So I think I'm well equipped for it. Like I can deal with being yelled at, being told what to do. Put your pride away. At the end of the day, we're all here for the same reasons for the most part. We're all going through the suck together. You're just another person at the end of the day to these people. Like you have to understand, they don't really give a fuck about you. You might meet somebody that's like super chill, super cool, and like they want the best for you. But I really didn't get that vibe. Again, there was different times where I was supposed to come. Like, hey, come at 9. The guy doesn't show up till 9:30, or they're like, wait, who are you? Or they're like, wait, are you going active or are you reserve? It's just like I pay attention to the little details. So like if you have to ask me about what I'm here for, that kind of shows me like you don't really care that much. It's just a job to you. And like I get it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just a job at the end of the day. Like I said, I don't leave for 4 months, so I got time. I think the hardest thing for me, because I get my daughter every weekend, that's gonna be the toughest thing. It's just like being away from her. I have a really good support system on my side, on her mom's side. And so like I have people on my side that will still be able to, take her and do things. So I'm excited though. I'm excited. I'm ready to start this new chapter, this new leaf, challenge myself. I would encourage a lot of people, if you're feeling lost in life, if you don't have direction, you feel like you've been working dead-end jobs and, you're just looking for something new, definitely, consider joining, even if you just do reserve. There's National Guard, there's Navy, there's Air Force, Army. I chose Army because I thought that would be the best suited for me. Your experience is going to be whatever you make it. So I would say like study up as much as possible for that ASVAB, because the higher your score, the better opportunities that you'll have. And you can take the ASVAB again and switch your MOS at some point. My contract is so short, I don't think I'll end up wanting to switch, you know what I mean? And like I said, I'll take a contract to contract if this is something that I really want to continue to do. But my big plan, honestly, save as much money as I can, keep my head down, work hard, and be able to buy a house when I get out for me and my daughter. And that's the plan. I'm 28, so by the time my contract is up, I'll be 31, and go from there. I forgot to mention this too about the tattoos. So obviously, like I'm in, but this was definitely a process. Like I had to take a picture with somebody's uniform just so they can see what it looks like. They have to take the width, the length. It was a whole process. The civilian has to approve it, and then the commander has to approve it. That took like 2 weeks because they didn't take the right pictures. So I was really stressed this whole time. Had I known I was going to attempt to join the military, I might not have got all these neck tattoos, but they let your boy in. So if you have neck tattoos, you still can get in.